All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening to all of you. How are you doing? I hope you and your loved ones are all safe and healthy. I'm very thrilled to be joining you virtually here all the way from Davao City. I guess ito po yung power ng digitalization as I am able to add value wherever you are located right now. And I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the 39 participants we have tonight. I'd like to thank you for spending your evening with us by attending this webinar on earning from dividends and undervalued stocks. Again po, this is part 2 of our basic education on stock trading learning series. The part 1 was handled by Ms. Moneth Pangatungan, our Visayas Business Development Officer, where she tackled about the impact of earnings and its impacts to its price action, no, yung mga PE ratio and all of those things. Now, I'm very excited to share with you the fascinating world of investments. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I consider myself as one of the lucky ones in life kasi pagkapanganak ko pa lang, meron na agad akong bilyones. Again, I am JP Billones. I used to have an above average paying job pero for some reason hindi po ako nakapag-ipon ng pera and worse, I was even drowning in debt. However, yung ibang tao parang wala silang problem when it comes to handling their finances. So I asked myself, ano ba yung ginagawa ng mga taong may pera na hindi ginagawa ng mga taong baon sa utang? And that question led me to become a personal finance and investment literacy advocate. Yung passion and purpose ko is to help more Filipinos like you appreciate yung value ng pag-iipon ng pera and consider investing to achieve their financial goals. I currently serve as the Business Development Section Head for the Mindanao Desk of First Metro Securities. So I'd be happy if you have clients here from Mindanao in attendance. And as you can see from my professional certifications, yung circle of competence ko lang po revolves around the topics of saving, budgeting, financial goal setting, investing in stocks, pooled funds, bonds, and active trading using technical analysis. But for today's session, we're going to hone in more into investing in stocks kasi we'll be talking about dividends and undervalued stocks. And this year, I also became a bona fide member of the Finance Educators Association. Now, over the years, I've had the privilege of working with First Metro Sec, where yung goal po namin is not just about financial success, but we also want to empower individuals like yourself, no, with the knowledge and tools na kailangan to make informed investment decisions. Lalo na po yung pag-uusapan natin tonight. Kasi these are things that enables you to earn money sa stock market. You can earn through dividends and you can also earn through undervalued stocks. Now, most especially sa amin po, sa Business Development and Market Education team, we have opportunities like this na ma-inspire yung mga tao to upgrade yung money management skills nila and create awareness of investment opportunities na legitimate, affordable, and accessible. Now, yung efforts po namin, we aim to bridge the gap between complexity and understanding, no? Lalo na po itong pag-usapan natin tonight kasi medyo intermediate level siya. Kasi pag-usapan natin are your financial ratios. Now, hindi nyo lang maintindihan yung fundamentals, but I hope with what you're going to learn tonight, you'll be very confident in applying them sa sarili ninyong investing strategies. Now, before we embark on this learning journey together, I'd love to know more a bit about our attendees tonight. No, can you please type in sa chat box where are you joining us from today? So can you please type where you are located, just the city, or maybe kung nasa labas kayo, what country you are listening to us. Ayan, so we have here, no? Thank you, no? May mga nag-hi pala sila Madeline, sila Prince, no? Good evening to you. We also have Negel, no? From Cebu, no? So mayang gabi diha, no? Bye. Sa mga taga Cebu or mga taga Visayas. We also have people from Dumaguete, no? Makati, OFWs as well from UAE, no? More people from Luzon, from NCR, sila Ruth. We have Anne from Rizal, more people from Visayas, Mary Rose from Leyte, and another one, no? Kababayan ko no dito sa Davao, Russell from Pampanga, Henson from Isabela, Roy from Papua New Guinea, so another OFW. Ma'am Shella from Davao City, so I hope you're able to visit our office, no? So, yan. Ayan, Batangas, Laguna. Ayan, thank you so much for all of you who participated. And yan, from Legazpi City to Cagayan de Oro City. So again, thank you so much, no? Ang dami pala natin kanina, 20 plus pa lang tayo, but right now we are about to hit 60 participants tonight. So thank you so much, no, na you took time to attend the session. Now, we acknowledge po na ito po yung demographics ng stock market investors in the Philippines. The reason why I ask you that because ito po yung status natin ngayon. As of 2023, there are only 1.9 million stock markets accounts. So that is less than 2% of the population. And majority of them at 1.52 million have online accounts. Now, makikita nyo rin dyan that 75% are locally employed pero meron ng gaining interest from OFWs and students, 'di ba? So right now, we have OFWs in attendance and majority are still from Metro Manila, 68.2%. So makikita nyo rin, 'di ba? Sa attendees natin tonight, marami pa rin talaga from Luzon. Now, where I am based, I am here in Mindanao sa Davao City. We represent 5.5% lang ng population, no? So but I'm very happy kasi the previous year 2022 nasa 2% lang yan siya. And I think yung mga ginagawa namin like this, nakatulong kami, no, to elevate yung financial wellness and lalo na sa pag-i-invest sa stock market, no, na tumataas yung number of investors. Now, just to get a sense of where you are sa inyong investment journey, can you please type, guys, no, do you already have a stock trading account or any form of investment account? So, type in yes or no. Tapos if yes, can you please share kung anong platform yung ginagamit ninyo? Alright, sige, can I see? Meron na ba kayong mga stock trading accounts? Yan, no, lalo na yung medyo intermediate yung pag-usapan natin. I assume majority of you already have investment accounts. So yan, daming nagsumasagot, no? Thank you so much. Yes. And I'm happy to see, no? So many of you are using our platforms for First Metro Sec. So we're grateful that you're using our service. And some of you also have accounts with our friendly competitor. So yan, no? That's okay as well, no? So I hope we are able to provide better service to you, no? But yan. Some here, no, have accounts with other brokers pero wala pa sa amin sa First Metro Sec. So I hope, no, in the future you get to try it, no? So again, you can just continue using whatever you're using right now, but maybe in the future you get a chance to try out our platform, then yun. Hopefully magustuhan ninyo, no? As much as I love it as well, no, when I use it on a personal basis. All right, yan. Some people here are bago pa lang din, no? Just started this year. Yan. Thank you. Yung iba, grabe, parang dami nilang broker, parang 3 to 4 brokers sa kanila. Ayan. Okay. So, thank you so much, no? I'm very happy to see na ang dami pa lang gumagamit sa platform namin. And yung iba, no, probably hindi pa sumagot but likely wala pa kayong account with us. And I hope you get a feel, no, kung some of you are just starting out your journey, they just want to learn how to invest in the market, you came at the right place. Now, before we delve into the main topics of our discussion tonight, I just want to share with you some highlights from my experience. No, I've had the privilege of conducting seminars, no, via internal or external invitations through our job here as part of the market education team, and even schools and academic organizations also tap us to educate students. No, ito, nandyan talaga yung passion. Kasi ako, I started very late. I started at the age of 25. No, so sabi ko, ang goal in life ko is to help the next generation become better investors and money managers than me. So, ang laki ng matutulong if you started at age 25 kaysa you started earlier in life. So, kung may opportunities, I really take that into high priority kasi alam ko yung value ng time when it comes to investing. And not even just schools, no, also government agencies like Department of Trade and Industry, Bureau of Fire Protection, Department of Education, Bureau of the Treasury, lalo na ngayon may bonds na kami sa First Metro Sec. There are opportunities na nagko-collaborate kami to promote financial literacy. And of course, private institutions like Greenwich, Jollibee, Deloitte, and just to remind the employees no na there are things to do when it comes to handling your finances. Siguro pagdating ng bonus, on top of just spending it off, no, maybe they can consider to invest no for their financial future. And that brings us to our webinar. Now, back to our webinar tonight, which is earning from dividends and undervalued stock. So medyo higher level to when it comes to the level of understanding than the usual sessions we do. So let's take a quick look on our agenda today. No? So we're going to talk about the following. First, how do we actually earn dividend income from stocks, which is one way for you to earn. Second, how do we apply the dividend capture strategy? Ito naman, after mo matutunan paano kumita ng dividends, there's a short-term trade opportunity when it comes to capturing dividends. So I'm going to teach that later. And sa second part ng discussion natin tonight, we will determine no if that stock is already cheap. No, we're going to discuss the price to book value na the metric. Now, we're very grateful that tonight, si Mr. Kyle Garcia from our Equity Research Division will be able to discuss to us as well paano i-interpret yung stock screen research report. So, we're going to highlight two reports tonight. We have the Yield Seeker Research Report and the second one is the Unloved na stock screen research report. So, parang based sa matutunan ninyo sa lecture tonight, no? How do you apply that? Ano yung shortcut for you to find those good dividend payers and those undervalued stocks? Okay, so again, that's how I usually do things. I teach you how to do it on your own, but I also teach you the shortcut. No? Kasi para sa akin, maganda if naintindihan nyo how to do it on your own kasi mas makakuha ka ng insights pag binigyan ka ng shortcut. Okay? So kasi paminsan pag shortcut lang agad yung gagamitin mo, hindi mo siya masyadong ma-internalize, not much insights. So best to go from theory to shortcut. Okay? So kung meron kayong questions regarding the presentation, may Q&A panel dyan sa Zoom. So you can type them later kasi pag nasa chat box siya, lalo na ako, I tend to be very interactive. I'm going to ask you to answer questions later. So better sa Q&A para ma-filter out, balikan natin later after the discussion. Okay? And the webinar natin tonight, it's going to be a very interactive space. So I encourage you to actively learn by participating sa discussion. And with that, I want you to guys, I want you to prepare no, yung mga notes ninyo, calculators, no? Mamaya marami tayong i-compute. But that's necessary for us to get insights. Anong ibig sabihin ng mga i-compute natin later. And yun, let's make this a collaborative learning experience. So feel free to interact as we go along. Okay? So if you guys are ready, can you please chat ready when you're good to go? Sige nga, just for me to check. Ayan, 66 na tayo. Ayan, please type ready if you're good to go. Ayan, thank you so much. Go ahead. Ayan. Testing lang. All right. Okay, see, I think that's good enough to start with. Okay, let's start our discussion with this quote no, from Kevin O'Leary. No? So, I'm not sure if you're watching Shark Tank or something. That's where I met this guy. No? Kevin O'Leary, sabi niya, I can't imagine buying a stock that does not pay a dividend. Why would you do that? The stock that does not pay a dividend is a speculation, not an investment. No? So ganun yung ganun yung investing philosophy ni Kevin O'Leary. So again, let's go back to what we've learned sa investment literacy that investing is personal. So paiba-iba tayo ng metrics per investor on what we deem to be investable. Pero para kay Kevin O'Leary, as you can see from this, he cannot imagine himself buying a stock that does not pay a dividend. Kasi para sa kanya, if that stock does not pay a dividend, it's a speculation, not an investment. Okay, so again, this is just Kevin O'Leary. Some might agree, while others might also disagree. But again, investing is personal. Magkakaibang investors have different investing strategies and there's no one size fits all. So first, let's answer the question, paano ba kumita ng dividend income from stocks? And the answer is quite simple. You need to own the stock. No? Dapat you own the stock for you to be eligible. No? Kasi as a part owner of that business, if the company generates profits, for example, no, if the company earns profits, pag may net income siya, yung board of directors can actually decide how much they're going to reinvest back to the business and how much they're going to give back to the shareholders through dividends. Yung ibang companies, meron yan silang dividend policy na naka-indicate doon yung specific percentage or range ng net income to be paid out as dividends. Now, maganda ito if they are given by stable companies kasi they can be a good source of income. Now, when it comes to getting dividends, no, may apat po na dividend dates to remember. So, first is the declaration date. Ito po yung date wherein the board of directors announces the dividend that they're going to give for that specific period. Kasi yung mga ibang companies, quarterly mamigay, yung iba once a year, yung iba twice a year. No? So, that's the declaration date. Second is the ex-dividend date. So ito po yung magdedetermine if you are eligible to get the dividends. As the term suggests, ex-dividend, what it says is that you are not entitled to receive dividends if you bought the stock on that date. No? Kaya ex-dividend date. However, if you already own that stock, but you decided to sell on the ex-dividend date, you are still entitled to receive the dividends. Pero kung sino man yung bumili sa'yo, you will not get the dividends. So again, no, I know this might be very confusing right now, pero don't worry, I'll show you a concrete example later to see how this progresses. Let's go to the third date, which is the record date. Ito po yung date wherein the company lists all eligible shareholders. Again, no, the company just lists down sino yung eligible. For newbie investors, ito yung common source of confusion. Kasi sa isip nila, kailangan nilang ma-own yung stocks on that date kasi yan yung record date. Pero as I discussed in the previous sentence na yung reference date talaga natin to be eligible to receive the dividends is the ex-dividend date. Okay? So, be careful with that kasi maraming baguhan na investors, akala nila dapat record date yung reference nila, they bought on record date, at the end of the day, hindi sila ineligible because the reference is the ex-dividend date. Lastly is the payment date. No? So this is when the company disburses the dividends. So take note lang that it will take a day or two before this will be credited to your First Metrosec accounts. No? Kasi payment date, matatanggap namin yung check from the company, pero may back office operations pa for us to distribute to all eligible shareholders on our on your side. No? So i-distribute pa namin yan per client. So sa inyong First Metrosec account, you can look at the dividend history of the stock. So makikita mo dyan, you can easily navigate to research. Tapos, hold on, I'll get my pointer. Ayan. So you can navigate to research. Tapos, enter nyo lang po yung stock code ng company. Tapos, click nyo po itong dividend history. Makita mo dyan yung historical dividends that were given. Mapa-stock dividend ba yan, cash dividend, split, or rights ba yan siya? Makikita nyo rin. And sa right side, you can see there the dividend dates that we just discussed. So, nandyan yung ex-date, record date, and date payable. So, ang maganda dito, if you have the dividend history, is makikita mo yung historical schedule and you can use that as reference. And when you can use that as reference, lalo na pag medyo regular mamigay yung company and dividends, may expect mo na, no? You can estimate when they will probably give the next dividend. For example, si Meralco, nakikita mo dyan always August, March, August, March, August, March yung ex-dividend date nila. So, you can estimate in the future na around those dates na mimigay si Meralco. Okay? And that is very important sa pag-uusapan natin later, which is the dividend capture strategy. No? So, kung gusto mo lang na kunin yung dividends for that period, Pwede yun, short-term trade opportunity. Now, after learning the 4 important dividend dates, no, ang next question talaga is, let's just concretize this part. No? When should you own the stock to be entitled to the dividends? Again po, yung reference natin is the ex-dividend date. And dapat, no, you should own the stock by the close of the trading day before the ex-dividend date. So kumbaga, if this is the ex-dividend date, tingnan mo yung trading day before that date, dapat pagsara ng market, hawak mo yung stock. Okay? So for better appreciation, ito po yung concrete na example as I promised a while ago to show the timeline of the dividend dates. So una, the company declared dividends on February 24. So you can see there, naka-yellow yung date. And sa disclosure, included yung mga details like how much dividends they're going to give per share, the ex-dividend date, the record date, and the payment date. Yung next is the ex-dividend date. So in this case, yung ex-dividend date was on March 17. So for you to be eligible to receive the declared dividends, you should own the stock by the close of the trading day before the ex-dividend date. So in this example, you need to own the stock by the close of the trading day on March 16. So pag sara ng market March 16, alam mong eligible ka if hawak mo yung stock na yun pag close na market. Okay? Now, when the market opens the next day, you can still decide to either hold or sell the stock. Either way, makakatanggap ka pa rin ng dividends. Now, if you sold the stock, kung sino man yung bumili sa'yo on the ex-dividend date, they will not be entitled to receive the dividends. Pero ikaw, yung nagbenta, you are still entitled to receive. Whoever bought it from you, hindi siya eligible. And that's very important for our dividend capture strategy later. Okay? So gagamitin natin yan na information. And third date, let's move to the next is record date. So ito siya usually, it's a couple of days, 2 to 3 business days after the ex-dividend date. So in this example, it was March 20. So again, this is just the day na nililista ng company yung eligible shareholders, pero ang main reference pa rin natin is the ex-dividend date, not the record date. Okay? Now, kung entitled ka to receive the dividends, then hintayin mo na lang yung payment date. In this case, that was April 15. Okay, matatanggap mo na yung dividends. Okay. So I think I was able to expound that really well there, no? So let's have a pop quiz. No? As I mentioned, I want this to be interactive para theory application. I think that's a better way for you to download what you just learned. Okay. So let's say, no, pumunta ka sa First Metrosec platform, you go to research, tinignan mo si Meralco, pumunta ka sa dividend history, nakita mo to. No? So the question here is, when should you own Meralco to get the latest dividends? No? Assuming ito yung nakita natin. Okay? Sige nga, let me see sa chat box. Alright. We have here an answer. Direct lang siya, no? Sabi ni Sir Ernesto, August 23. Okay? Sabi ni Negel, sorry. Sabi ni Negel, hold on. Daming sumagot eh. Alright. Sabi ni Negel, August 24. Sabi ni Arnold, before August 24, August 23, August 23, August 23. Okay, so, yan. No? So, medyo may magkakaibang answers. May nagsabi 22, 23, 24. But again, based sa ating discussion kanina, you should own the stock, no? Tingnan mo yung ex-dividend date, that is August 24. Tapos, for you to be eligible, it should be the day, no? The trading day before the X date, which is August 23. So, dapat pagsara ng August 23 trading day, hawak-hawak mo dapat yung stocks for you to be eligible for this declaration. Okay? So, yan. Many of you got it correctly. All right. Next pop quiz. Let's say binenta mo yung Meralco on August 24. Ang question is, will you still get the dividends? Sige, yes or no lang. binenta mo si Meralco August 24. Will you still get the dividends? Yan. Okay. The correct answer is yes. No, kasi again, binenta mo siya on X date, hawak-hawak mo siya the trading day before pag close na market, so you are already eligible. Pag binenta mo siya on X date, ikaw na nagbenta, eligible ka pa din. Pero kung sino mong bumili on the X date, hindi na sila eligible. Okay, kaya tawag sa kanya X dividend date. No dividends. Okay. So, yan. So, that's very important. So, next question. If eligible ka to get the dividend, when should you expect to get the dividends? Okay, when should you expect to get the dividends? Sige, you can see that there sa yan. Sige, date tama, date payable, no? But I want you to see the date, no? The actual date based on this latest declaration. Okay, yan. Yes, all right, you're correct. That is September 14. That's the correct answer. Okay, now next question, follow-up question ko sa inyo. Will it be credited agad-agad on September 14 sa First Metrosec accounts ninyo? Yes or no? You are correct. The answer is no. No, kasi again, that's the day that we're going to receive the check from the company. Pero due to back office operations, we will still distribute it to your individual accounts, no? So dapat we have to credit it individually, and that takes siguro a day or two for you to see it. And best notification ninyo para matanggap nyo is check niyo yung registered email address ninyo kasi we send out notices for cash dividends, no? So makikita niyo na na-credit yung certain amount sa account niyo. Okay, I'm happy na ano niyo, no, na you're able to answer it kanina. All right. So after learning how we can be entitled to receive dividends, yung next option and question is how much will be our dividend yield? No? So very straight through algebra lang na calculation, no? To calculate for the dividend yield, we simply divide dividend declared by the stock price you bought it. Tapos i-multiply natin yan by 100% to get the percentage yield. So note ko lang po, no, ito siya, na calculation is still gross calculation because itong dividend income is subject to 10% dividend tax, no. So very applicable to siya for individual investors, pero swerte yung mga may corporate accounts kasi ano na sila, they are exempt, no, from this dividend tax. So if you have corporate accounts, wala na pong dividend tax. Sa mga individual accounts, meron siyang 10% dividend tax. Now, for better appreciation, let's first look at Jollibee Foods Corporation or JFC. Ayan, no? So, yung trailing 12 months dividend per share niya was 2.38 pesos. Now, assuming si Jollibee Foods will give the same amount of dividends in the next 12 months, tapos bibilhin natin siya at 245.8 pesos, which is, sorry, di ko lang na-change yung date, no? But that should be as of today na closing price niya. So, divide mo lang 2.38 divided by 245.8. Your dividend yield is 0.97%. Okay, sige. Let's look at another example. Very simple lang. Alam niyo na to na calculation. Let's look at Globe. No? So si Globe, trailing 12 months dividend per share niya was 125 pesos. So assuming yun din ibibigay ni Globe na dividends in the next 12 months, tapos bibili natin siya at the closing price niya na 2,260, can you please type your dividend yield? Okay, sige. Please type, simple lang yan. Divide lang. Dividend divided by stock price times 100%. How much do you get? Sige. As I mentioned, di ba? Interactive to. So, ready your calculators. Yan, I'm getting correct answers already. Some of you have sent less than one answer. Again, don't forget to multiply 100 to get the percentage yield. So, yeah. So the correct answer here is 5.53%. Okay, so yun. Very easy, no? Very easy to calculate your dividend yield. Now, sa first Metrosec account ninyo, you can see this data very conveniently. So again, sabi ko, di ba, I'm going to teach you how to do it on your own, pero may mga shortcut. No? So, you can just go to research, tapos type mo lang yung company, yung stock code niya, in this case, GLO for Globe. Tapos, dun ka sa summary tab, and you can see many valuation metrics. Last time, sa best part 1, you discussed about earnings per share and PE ratio. Pero today, we talked about dividend and dividend yield, and makikita mo na automatic yan. No? So, trailing 12 months dividend and trailing 12 months dividend yield. Yan. So, manual and shortcut. Okay? So, you have to remember lang guys that as you are calculating for dividend yields, there's always a trade-off. 'Di ba? Companies that are quite generous na mamigay ng dividends, they tend to grow less quickly. While those less generous tend to grow more quickly. Bakit? Again, balik tayo dun sa concept ng dividends. Yung dividends comes from net income, and yung net income, nagde-decide yung board of directors how much they're going to reinvest back to their business and how much they're going to give back to the investors in the form of dividends. So kung yung company is a growth company, mas gusto yan nila mag-reinvest back to the business to grow it further over the long term. And when they reinvest more back to the business, mas maliit na lang mabibigay nila na dividends to investors. Pero for mga mature na mga companies like yung mga na-saturate na nila yung market, may certain level of monopoly sila sa market or siguro 2 or 3 lang sila sa market na yun, usually niyan, saturated na nila yung market. And pag medyo mature na yung company, sila yung companies na medyo maluwag magbigay ng dividends. So, medyo malalaki yung nabibigay nila na dividend yield, pero always remember na yung counterpart niyan is malit lang yung nare-reinvest niya back to the business. So, you have the trade-off between income you're getting right now in the form of dividends versus the growth potential niya in the future. But usually guys, ang relationship niyan basta growth pa yung company, paminsan hindi sila namimigay ng dividends or maliit lang yung binibigay nila na dividends. Pero pag medyo mature na siya na company, medyo generous siya mamigay. Again, there's always that trade-off. Okay? So I hope you put that into perspective whenever you see opportunities. Okay? So let's have another example. Okay, this is a hypothetical stock no, with a trailing 12 months dividend per share of 1.2 pesos. No, 1.2 yung binigay niya. Tapos pag check mo sa stock price niya, nasa 10.08 pesos per share. Sige, based from our dividend yield calculation, what is your dividend yield for this hypothetical stock? Sige, ayan. Yan. I'm happy to see yung mga very active na mag-compute, no? So again, guys, para sa akin, iba yung alam mo, no? How they came up with that number. Kasi doon ka makakuha ng insight. Like, for example, in this specific example. And you are correct, no? The correct answer here is 11.90%. Pag tiningnan mo yung hypothetical stock na yan, which is actually blind item lang, no? But this is from a real stock pero blind item lang natin, no? So, generous, no? 11.90%. You'll probably find this very attractive, di ba? Galing ka na mag-compute ng dividend yield, eh. Kasi alam mo, yung average na dividend yield, even for blue chip stocks, is nasa 1 to 3% lang. So, ang tendency ng ibang, lalo na ba sa newbie investors, ano talaga, they grab this opportunity na parang, uy, jackpot to, diba? But before jumping into any investment opportunities, it will be very prudent to first ask yourself more questions, no? Yan yung gusto kong ma-share sa inyo, no? Now, even though we know how to calculate the dividend yield, let's probe in with more questions. So, unang tanong, bakit kaya yung dividend yield niya mas mataas sa average yield? No? So that's the main question. Bakit above average siya? Bakit 1 to 3% lang usual but right now, there's an opportunity na 11.9. So when you ask that question, you move to the next question. Ano kaya yung nagpataas ng yield niya? What caused the yield to increase? So to answer that question, tingnan mo yung equation. No? And there's only two reasons for that to happen. First, pwede na yung dividend na dineclare nila, pwede umangat. No? Kasi pag umangat yung numerator, yung dividend yield mo would also increase. And that might actually be a good sign because pag mataas yung dividend, we can probe on to more questions. No? Sige, pwede tumaas ang dividend niya na dineclare niya that year. Tanungin natin next time. No? Alam na natin saan galing yung dividend. So, next question dito is, did the company have higher earnings or profits? Di ba ganyan yung dividend? Galing yan siya sa net income. So, nagbigay ba siya ng mas malaking dividend kasi tumaas yung net income niya? Alright? If you answered yes to both questions, can you please type, do you think this is a good opportunity? Okay? Tumaas yung dividend yield. Ang reason bakit tumaas yung dividend yield niya is tumaas yung dividends declared. Now, you dug deeper, nakita mo na the reason bakit tumaas yung dividend na dineclare niya is tumaas yung net income nila. Sige. Do you think, no, if you answered yes to both questions, sa tingin ninyo, is this a good opportunity? Ayan, I got to one answer na. Okay, how about the others? Ayan. Yung iba kasi direct sa akin host to panelist yung response nila. Sige. Sige. How about the others? Yan. Sana hindi copy-paste yung yes nyo, ha? But are you, I hope you're following my train of thought, di ba? Okay. And if you were to ask me that question, my answer would be yes. Because we like businesses who have higher earnings and profits. 'Di ba? Gusto natin 'yan, no? Gusto natin na ang reason bakit mataas yung binigay niya na dividend yield is because mataas yung dividend na binigay sa atin per share, and the reason behind this, tumaas yung net income. Okay? If you answered yes to both questions, my answer to that question is also yes. Okay, but that's just one scenario. Let's look at the other scenario. Isang scenario that can also increase your dividend yield is if the price declines, 'di ba? Kasi pag lumaki to, pag bumaba tong stock price mo, yung denominator mo liliit, and pag lumiliit yung denominator mo, tumataas itong yield mo. Okay, now yung question ko sa inyo is this. Gusto niyo bang mag-invest in a stock with a declining price trend? No, yung bumababa yung presyo. Ibig sabihin binebentahan. Okay? Gusto ba natin mag-invest sa stock na bumababa yung presyo? Yan. And sige, go ahead. How about the others? Yes. Okay. We have the same answer. My answer to that is also no. No? The yield, no? The yield might be attractive, pero the decline in stock prices implies weakening demand for that stock. Kasi pag gusto ng investors ang stock na yan, tendency niya is tumataas. Pero pag binibentahan yan siya, bumababa yung presyo. No? So, in this case, it might be prudent to wait until the price action manifests otherwise. Okay, so case in point, this is the actual price chart of this hypothetical stock. No? Blind item na lang. And we can clearly see that it declined since 2021. No? Bagsak talaga siya. No? Tapos, it has been ranging in that low level since then. And when you look at this stock, this was likely due to the underperformance ng business segments niya. No? So, from its banking business, tapos medyo nag-compound pa talaga to kasi yung mga products ng company na to, medyo natamaan nung high inflation, tapos may excise taxes pa talaga sa products and products na manufacture nila. So, yan, those are the two main reasons bakit hindi pa nakaka-recover yung stock na to. But when you look at this dividend yield, mataas. No? So, for me, if you were to ask me, hintayin mo na lang na mag-recover siya. Ay, grabe, no? Hypothetical nga sa may mga may mga nag-chismis dito sa chat box eh. Okay. So again, that's how you analyze things. Ang gusto ko lang sa inyo is really the train of thought, no? Train of thought on how to look at opportunities. Kasi pag tiningnan mo yung yield lang, maano ka talaga, ma-attract ka talaga. But you have to answer more questions. Okay? So my point here, guys, is this one. No? Beware of the yield trap. So ask yourself these questions. Pag nakakita ka ng good dividend yielding stock, first question mo dyan, do you think the company will be able to sustain this yield? Kaya niya ba ito ibigay on a regular basis? Kaya ba nilang i-produce same level of earnings? Kasi may mga instances din, malaki yung dividend na binigay nila kasi may one-off sale sila. Nagbenta sila ng isang segment ng business nila, may massive cash flow from that, tumaas yung net income nila. So are those income one-offs or regular and stable? Or baka in the future because of that one-off thing, ikakat lang din nila yung dividends nila. Lastly, third question to beware of the yield trap is nagsa-struggle ba yung company causing the share prices to fall? And depende sa mga answers nyo doon sa mga questions na yon, you would look at that high dividend yielding investment on a different light. No? So again, as stock market investors, we always put our businessman's hat. No? And yun, I hope that gave you insights on how to avoid yield traps. Okay? So sa First Metrosec accounts ninyo guys, you can conveniently access dividend yield data. So punta lang kayo dun sa quotes, then you go to stats, then you go to analytics, then go to fundamental, pag-click nyo dun sa dividend yield, yan, makikita nyo lahat dyan. No? So filter nyo, pwede all shares, pwede PSEI, or a certain industry lang, makita mo dyan lahat. The last price, trailing 12 months dividend, per share, and yung calculated na dividend yield. So again, yung process natin is, I teach you how to do it on your own, you get insights on that, para pag gamit nyo sa shortcut, mas ma-internalize nyo siya kasi alam nyo paano it came to that number. Okay? So, yan. So I hope that's helpful for you. Okay? So, after learning all of that, I'm going to teach you next no yung dividend capture strategy. So ito naman, it's more of a short-term trade strategy to capture attractive dividend opportunities. No? So let's use Cebu Pacific as an example. So last May 2019, Cebu Pacific declared 2 pesos regular dividends and 5 pesos special dividend. Now, on the declaration date, nag-close yung stock at 84.7 pesos. So pag-calculate nyo ng yield, nasa 8.26% yan. Now, after the declaration date, because of this actually, very generous dividend, umakyat yung presyo. Nag-jump siya, no? May gap up tawag namin dito. Gap up due to the increased demand. No? So on May 21, it closed at 86.1 pesos and it opened at 86.1 and closed at 88 pesos. So when you're going to calculate the dividend yields nito, nasa 8.13 and 7.95% respectively. Now, yung Cebu Pacific continued to trend higher up until June 7. No? So yung June 7 is the day before the ex-dividend date. So dito nag-close siya at 93.3. If binili mo siya at this price, yung yield mo is around 7.5%. Now, after that, on the X date, SEB opened lower, no? At 89 pesos. By the way, usually ganito yung nangyayari, guys. It's not always, it's not all the time, but stocks have this tendency. Na tipong after the ex-dividend date, during the ex-dividend date, bumababa siya as much as ano yung binibigay nila na dividends expectedly. So may mga ganun siya na mga relationship. Again, not all the time, but usually, yung binababa niya on the ex-dividend date is the dividends that is expected to receive. No? So, tapos pag medyo mataas yung dividends from declaration date up until the day before the ex-date, medyo hinahabol niya yung presyo. So, ganun. Now, there's those types of relationships. Now, It opened lower at 89 pesos. So pag binili mo siya on the X date, your yield will be 0%. Because again, hindi ka eligible for that dividend declaration. So this was the price action niya up until the payment date on July 10, wherein you will be receiving your 7 pesos na total dividend. So again, yan yung progression niya. Now, how do we apply the dividend capture strategy? You could have bought, no? So this is how you apply it. Pag declaration date, let's say hindi mo siya napansin, no? So next opportunity mo siya the next day na, no? So you could have bought it after the declaration date, but buy it at 86.1 pesos. Tapos since you're just after the dividends, kaya dividend capture strategy, pwede mo siya ibenta on the ex-dividend date. Benta mo siya dito at 89 pesos. So kita ka na niyan, no? May capital gain ka na 3.36%. Tapos, kahit binenta mo siya on the ex-dividend date, makakatanggap ka pa rin ng cash dividend na 7 pesos, which translates to 8.13%. So in this case, if you're going to use this strategy, dividend capture, this specific example could have potentially earned you around 11% or 12%, no? If we round up, diba? So 12% just for this strategy. And this is not a long-term hold, no? Buy and hold ka, no? Just a short-term trade opportunity na binili mo lang siya for the attractive dividend yield, binenta mo lang din siya at the ex-dividend date kasi gusto mo lang kunin yung dividendo. But in this case, may capital gain ka pa. But again guys, not all the time na meron. May mga instances din talaga na medyo lugi. So, ang recommendation ko, go use this strategy for really attractive opportunities. And make sure lang na mabenta nyo talaga. No? Mabenta nyo. Kasi again, this is a short-term trade opportunity. Okay? So, all this time, no, while we were discussing, lahat na napag-usapan natin is cash dividend, no? But there are other types of dividends. So I'm going to share yung mga dividend types nila, Metrobank and Robinsons for your reference, no? So in 2019, namigay ng cash dividend si Metrobank na 1 peso per share tapos 13% na stock dividend. So sabihin natin meron kang 1,000 Metrobank shares, makakatanggap ka ng 1,000 pesos as cash dividend kasi 1 peso per share. Pero on top of that, 1,000 pesos, you'll get additional 130 shares as stock dividend. Okay, kasi yung stock dividend, 13% of 1,000 shares is 130. So, two ways ka kumita. Dividends earned and stock, additional stocks na bibigay sa'yo. Now, in the same year, RLC gave 50 centavos per share na cash dividend and property dividend of 1 Altus Property Ventures for every 51.93 RLC shares. So, sabihin natin, meron kang 520 RLC shares. So, makakatanggap ka ng 260 pesos plus 10 Altus Property Ventures na shares as stock dividend. Okay, so yun, those are your other forms of dividends na pwede nyo rin kitain. So, many ways, no? Many ways na kumita through the stock market. So, I hope you take advantage of that throughout your journey. Ayan. Okay, so we're technically done with the first part. Let's now transition to the second part, but it's going to be very quick, no? Madali lang. Kasi we're going to discuss next is yung undervalued stocks. But just as we started kanina sa best series, let's start off with this quote from Warren Buffett. Ito si Warren Buffett, no? Alam natin that he's a value investor. Sabi niya, it's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. Okay, so yun yung ano niya rin. That's his investing philosophy or persona, di ba? So from this question from this quote from Warren Buffett, it begs the question, how much is my stock worth? No, ano ba yung value ko? Joke lang, no? Ano yung value ng stock ko, di ba? So there are two answers to this question actually, depende kung sinong tatanungin mo. Here's an example, no? Let's use Alliance Global Group or AGI. So ang first that can answer that question is the market price. Now when you check the stock market, AGI is trading at around 8.85 pesos per share. So that tells us that the stock market is telling na si AGI, ang value niya is 8.85. Bakit? Because that's the value na nag-trade si AGI at that specific point in time. Now, yung other answer is the book value per share, no? So, ito naman, a dive deeper, no? Kasi titingnan mo yung books or financials ng company. So, this is actually computed, no? Or can be quantified kasi book value per share is just book value divided by the outstanding shares. But flesh out natin yung book value. Book value is just your assets minus all your liabilities divided by your outstanding shares. So when you do that, you'll get the book value per share ni AGI na 29.75 pesos. Now, as you might have observed, no, may difference, no, yung sinasabi ng financial statements niya versus what the market is pricing in that stock, 'di ba? So, this can help us actually no determine if the stock is cheap. Again, yung market natin is pricing it at 8.85 pero the books are telling us na 29.75 pesos siya per share. So with this discrepancy, we can further ask our questions. How do we know if the stock is relatively cheap? Kasi gusto natin bumili ng cheap na stocks. Now to answer that, I'm going to introduce to you the price to book ratio. So, very simple lang, no? I-divide mo lang yung market price by the book value per share. So, this essentially tells us how the market price is trading relative to the book value per share. So, gamitin ulit natin si AGI as an example. So, si AGI, trading at 8.85, i-compare natin yan by dividing it to its book value per share na 29.75 and you'll get a price to book ratio na 0.2975. So, pag yung ratio mo ng price to book ratio is below 1, we know that the stock is trading below its book value per share. There might be an opportunity here kasi the market is discounting what the books are telling us. 'Di ba? So, let's compare to another holding company like DMCI Holdings Inc. So market price ni DMCI is nasa 11.1 per share. Book value per share niya is 8.33 pesos. So pop quiz tayo, no? Apply natin agad. What's your price to book ratio here? No? Check ko lang, nandiyan pa ba kayo? Okay. Sige nga. Simple lang yun. You just divide the two. Okay. Let me check your chat. Ayan. Yan, tama. No, very simple. We get a 1.33 price to book ratio. Now, it's around 1, no? It's trading around 1. So, masasabi natin that right now, the stock is trading around its book value per share, no? Hindi masyado nagkakalayo. Even though mga 30%, yeah, actually, this is the closest to 1 na nakita ko sa market right now. So, it's still a little bit higher, mga 30% its book value, but still, it's trading around 1, no? So ganun. Now, last example, let's use SM, no? So SM Investments Corp. Ang kanyang market price is 930 pesos per share. Yung book value per share niya is 470.23 pesos per share. Sige, again, what's your price to book ratio here? Sige, simple calculation lang yan, no? Sige. How about the others? Sige. Divide lang. 930 divided by 470. Yan, sige. Waiting for some more answers. All right, yan. I think you're getting it correctly, no? So, the price to book ratio mo dito is 1.98. Now, so mapapansin niyo, no? 1.98 is close to 2 already. And this is way above 1. So, alam natin that the stock price is trading above its book value per share. Now, so, comparing the calculated price to book ratios and examples, no, makita natin si AGI 0.2975, si DMCI 1.33, si SM 1.98. Now, if we just use price to book ratio as a reference sa relative cheapness sa stock, masasabi natin that AGI is relatively cheap compared to DMC and SM kasi it's trading below book value per share. Okay, so again, kung ang price to book ratio is below 1, it's trading below the book value per share. If the price to book ratio is above 1, the stock is trading higher than its book value per share. Kung relative cheapness yung hanap natin sa price to book ratio na metric, below 1 yung hinahanap natin. Okay? But please do note that this is just one of the many fundamental metrics and methods to determine the cheapness of the stock. Sa best part 1, we use the price to earnings ratio as a method to do this. Right now, I want you to add to your arsenal the price to book ratio. Now, from my experience, some stocks almost never trade below 1. No? I think CSM seldom it does that. Usually, investors are willing to buy it at a premium price talaga. And some stocks also frequently trade below 1. No, may mga stocks din talaga diyan na below 1 yung price to book value niya or price to book ratio niya. And ibig sabihin nito, unloved, no? They are still undervalued by the market and have yet to gain price momentum and demand. Now, I taught you how to do it on your own. Ito naman po yung shortcut. Sa First Metrosec account ninyo, you can conveniently access price to book data. Navigate nyo lang po, punta lang kayo sa quotes, then you go to stats, then you go to analytics, punta kayo sa fundamentals, and may price to book ratio doon. So sa price to book ratio, makikita nyo lahat. Book value per share, price to book ratio. Tapos naso-sort to siya guys. So when you sort it, you can sort it from the lowest price to book ratio to the highest price to book ratio. Okay, and you can analyze this across the index, across different industries or sectors, and even all shares sa market. Okay? Now, with this, dami nating natutunan tonight. If you'd like to, ayan, Eduardo Reyes, sabi niya RLC is 0.51 right now. Maybe Kyle can share some insights on that later. No, so talking about this, if gusto niyo ma-screen, no, yung mga growth stocks with cheap valuations or gusto niyo maka-screen ng stocks that can generate above average dividend yield, parang i-apply natin lahat na natutunan natin tonight, our stock screen research report can help. And we're very grateful and honored that a member of our equity research division took the time to join us this evening and discuss how to make the most out of our stock screen research report. No? So I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Kyle Garcia. He is an equity research associate for First Metro Securities. He is a psychology and finance graduate from the Ateneo de Manila University. Actually, we first met there in one of their events sa school, no? Tapos lo and behold, no? Di ko nga alam ano pala siya, nag-apply siya sa First Metrosec. Tapos nandun na siya sa office namin. And he actually held various leadership positions during his stay. He actively managed a private portfolio between 2019 to 2023. While yung yung portfolio na yun, it focused on local equity market before he joined First Metrosec. So without further ado, let's all welcome our equity research associate, Mr. Kyle Garcia. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks JB for the wonderful introduction. Hi everyone. Good evening. Hopefully, your ports are performing well as the index is, no? So let me just share my presentation with you guys. So yeah, so with what JP said, how do we combine all these ideas into a trading or an investing strategy? So this is our take on those metrics and basically that knowledge to be utilized to invest properly, to make wise investment decisions. So let me introduce to you a quick background of our stock screen report. So the stock screen is one of First Metro Securities research reports, tailor-fit for investors who base their investment decisions on select financial metrics of stocks in the PSE. So as the name suggests, it is a screener of stocks that automatically filters companies and selects the outperforming ones based on each metric or criteria. So under these, we have three model portfolios to suit different investment styles. So we have riding the flows, unloved, and yield seeker. So how does the stock screen filter companies that we include in our report? First, we have a stock screen universe, which are selected from all securities that are included in the MSCI Investable Market Index, the PSE Index, the PSE Midcap Index, and the PSE Dividend Yield Index. So the investability filters used to determine inclusion in each of the screens are run on a monthly basis. So the stock screen report is actually uploaded every second trading day of the month. As you can see here, it is located here in the First Metro Sec research section. So the data is retrieved through our Refinitiv Trust subscription. So all our figures for this report come from them, except for the target price of covered stocks, which is from us. So we want to emphasize that the data comes from our third-party provider, Refinitiv, which is then filtered out by our screener. So what's nice about the stock screen report is it's completely unbiased, meaning all the data here is done through filters lang. So basically, there is no human intervention whether a stock is included in each of these portfolios. So kumbaga, if nakapasok siya sa mga screeners namin, including for say example na high growth, then it can be included depending on the filters in the portfolio. So first, we have, I think last time, riding the flows was already discussed. But a brief recap, that for riding the flows, we mainly base it on earnings per share or EPS growth, price to earnings or PE ratio, price to book, EV EBITDA, and at the same time, we also complement it with liquidity, meaning trading volume, as well as foreign flows. So these are highly traded growth stocks. So what we want to emphasize here is those stocks that what the consensus or the analysts are thinking that have a bright future in terms of their earnings potential. And it is also tradable. So for this one, if you look at our stock screen report on our website, we have DG Plus, ASEN Corp, and ICT as the top three. And then this is joined by Robinsons Land and Globe. Now for this session, we will be discussing the unloved and the yield seeker. So first, for the yield seeker, this is actually one of our, or if not, this is actually the best performing model among the three, no? If you look at the performance, it's almost 30% performance since inception. So I think we can be proud of this portfolio because if you compare this to fund managers, actually it might top or it might be one of the best portfolios out there. So for the yield seeker, as the name implies, this investing strategy is for those who want to invest in quality stocks with high dividend yield. So Sir JP earlier discussed in depth the concepts we need to understand if we are considering investing in dividend paying stocks. First is the dividend yield, and second is the dividend compounded annual growth rate, meaning it is a way to measure the average annual growth of an investment, where in this case, a high yield stock over a period of time, assuming profits are also reinvested in the company, consistent dividend payments indicate a company with a certain level of financial stability. So for example, the dividend CAGR, if you actually buy a company that is able to grow their dividend, if you buy it for say at 1 peso and their dividend is around 8 cents, by the time say na 10 years, baka lumaki na to by around 15 cents. So not only that, you have from inception, you have 8% dividend yield. And after that, it's almost 15% na. So that's what we try to look for in this portfolio. And then another factor that we also include, although it is not a financial metric, is the 2-year Philippine bond rate, which is a less risky financial instrument. In our case, the bond rate was around 5.9% to 6% when we created the stock screen report for August. After that, when we include uh, why do we include the Philippine bond rate? It's because we compare it against these names. So we want stocks that are actually trading above the above the bond rate. This is because you want to buy stocks that are, you want that have that have that gap between your Philippine bonds. Kasi ba't ka naman bibili ng stocks if you can buy bonds, which is actually much more stable and safer, right? So that's what we are trying to look for. So applying this idea, our stock screen will filter out companies with high dividend yield and dividend compounded annual growth, or CAGR. So it is a dividend play for investors who want a stable income from dividends. So shown on your screens is our top, or are the stocks that actually were included in the portfolio that we have. So here we have Metrobank, Semirara, AREIT, MREIT, and RCR. So among these names we have here, we can see that almost all are REITs now, with MBT and SCC as the only non-REIT names among the group. We all know that REITs are legally required to pay dividends, so it's natural lang na they will be included in the screener. So let's discuss Metrobank, which is the top one. Again, we don't usually comment on Metrobank, but it was included in the stock screen report because this is a report that's actually, again, unbiased. Since we are the Metrobank Group, we don't have, for example, a trader's playbook report, but for this one, it was included. So in terms of dividends, Metrobank has a hard to ignore full year 2024 forecasted yield of 7.4%. So this is above by almost 1.4% against the Philippine 2-year bond, with a slight reduction to next year to 6.5%, but this is still above the current Philippine 2-year bond. And it is also important to note that Metrobank is also one of the best performing banks in terms of share price, and actually reached a new 52-week high today, closing at 73. So what's nice here is most of these stocks actually performed well this year, no? Because these are defensive names. So that's what a good dividend name, or a good stock that has good dividends also has. Because if a company is growing their dividends, it means that they have a lot of growth potential already. So not only are you able to capture good dividends, you also have, as Sir JP mentioned, you have a good company that you can buy, which also appreciates in prices. So you have that two benefits already. So next one, we have SCC, which was one of the top performers in the prior reach. Remember when coal surged, right? So based on the screener, SCC has a forecasted yield of 9.7% for this year and 10.1% next year. So SCC continues to benefit from higher coal prices compared to pre-pandemic levels amid energy issues overseas. So there are some countries actually importing coal right now because they do not have the supply yet to manage or supply the grid for electricity. That's why they're still importing coal right now. And then management also guided that SCC remains on track to reach its 2024 shipment of a shipment guidance of 15 million metric tons to 16 million metric tons of coal. So 55% of this is for domestic, while 45% are for exports. So for SCC, it is important to note that its dividends is highly reliant on global coal prices. So what's good with these companies is, despite some potential pressure, you want that stability for looking at dividend companies. As Sir JP mentioned, you don't want a yield trap that has maybe have a high dividend, but their potential for growth is capped or limited already because maybe their industry is under attack, or it's losing, or it's having a week, or there's no more growth potential. So with this, for example, for SAC, they're still able to maintain their shipments for this year and next year. So that's mostly it for Yield Seeker. If you want a more in-depth approach for the metrics that are actually this, you can visit our website again and look through the historical updated the historical updates for the stock screen reports. So next up is we have naman is the unloved screener. So this one we try to capture those names that are still growing but with cheap valuations. So we also base it on price to earnings or PE ratio, like for riding the flows. Because by definition, the price to earnings ratio is a financial metric that shows whether a stock is expensive or cheap relative to earnings per share. So that's why we use it as a metric because we can quickly see if a stock may be undervalued. But we also want to note that you shouldn't use one financial metric when analyzing stocks because you want a holistic approach because sometimes there are stocks na medyo mababa nga yung PE but mayroon pa pala siyang nangyayari on the background. For example, yung industry niya, maybe it's losing ground or there are internal problems in the company. So, but again, for instance, sometimes a high PE means that investors are willing to pay more for every peso that the company earns. So for this screener, while we also look at price to earnings, we have also earnings per share growth again. In particular, we also search for companies that have high earnings per growth because this is indicative of room or what consensus is thinking that or analysts are thinking that it will grow as a company. But with low PE naman. So that's the approach. We have a cheap stock that is still growing. Aside from these metrics, you also have price to earnings, price to book, and also EV/EBITDA again. So for the stock screen for for August, these are the counters that fit our unloved screener. So we have JGS or JG Summit Holdings, Aboitiz Power, GT Capital, Bloomberry Resorts Corp, and Ayala Land Inc. So some of these names were almost met the criteria, but others were much better. For example, Ayala Corp was our sixth place actually. So with our top one, let's take a look at JG Summit Holdings and why it was included in our portfolio. So based on our screener, which considered all the factors on an equal basis, we have a fairly good EPS growth of 19.6%. And 19.6% between 2023 and 2025. Next up, we can also see that it has a low price to earnings ratio of around 8 times this year. Most of all, JGS is also currently trading at 0.6 price to book ratio as mentioned by Sir JP. Sometimes it is indicative na medyo cheap yung company when it's falling below 1 price to book, right? So this is clearly being undervalued by the market. Under our screeners, we think that JGS has good earnings potential, but its stock's price is cheap compared to its earnings as there is strong growth potential for the counter, considering that 2 of its subsidiaries are actually our top buy picks. So if you were able to join our traders playbook session, I think last month, or I think it was this month, we also actually like URC and Robinson's Land Corp. No? So these are subsidiaries under JG Summit Holdings. As for the second ranking, we have Aboitiz Power. We can see that it has a low price to earnings ratio of around 7.7 times this year, while its price to book is at 1.2 times. Most of all, the return on equity is at almost 17%, which is the ROE, almost 17%. And this is good. This is a good measure that the company is able to generate profits dependent on dependent on the equity it has or the cash that the founders or the investors put in. So again, our screeners, we think that AP is also being undervalued by the market. So that's actually all for both the yield seeker and the unloved. I would also like to present, actually, as I mentioned, the returns or the performances of the portfolio that we have. As you can see here, so this is the latest update that we have. Yield seeker is our best performing portfolio thus far because this is also good for the in terms of environment. the yield seeker is best returning because right now the rates are going down. The BSP is cutting rates, so people want to lock in those companies that have good dividend yield, which is RCR. You have RCR nga, Metrobank, AREIT, MREIT, right? So these are the names that is why yield seeker is actually performing quite well. And then for unloved, it is underperforming compared to the PSEI, but the equal weighted, meaning the investments proportional to the portfolio with equal weights. So all of the stocks that were created have equal weights are outperforming the PSEI. But for riding the flows naman, just to a brief recap, it's underperforming because the riding the flows typically performs during a bull market. As mentioned, di ba, we want to ride the flows or those that have good buying potential. And since we are prior to this report, we were basically in a bear market or a neutral to bear market. That's why the stock screen report is the riding the flows is underperforming. Um, so for this one, you can also locate the methodology or the process that we have for the stock screen report that you can basically try to understand better in your own time how the stock screen reports for each portfolio is done. So this is a brief, or this is basically how we really do it every month. So we have writing the flows, unloved, and yield seeker. Most of these have 3 steps only, but for unloved, there are 4 steps. Yeah, um that's actually my presentation today. Thank you, Sir JP, for giving me the time to present our report.
All right, thank you for that, Kyle. And I'm thankful as well that you were able to explain to our attendees how to use the stock screen research report. So again, as I mentioned kanina, I taught you how to do it on your own. You computed it by yourself as well. You gain insights from that. And now, we just shared to you a shortcut from those research reports. And I just like to add that stock streaming research report, we upload that once a month only because those numbers do not change that quickly naman. So every first week of the month, please expect that on our First Metrosec website. And the best part, all of the research reports that our equity research team produces are for free. So you don't have to pay anything or parang fee for you to access those trade and investment ideas. All right, so let's give si Kyle muna a bit of time to catch his breath and have a break before we proceed to the Q&A question. So allow me to share these slides na lang as a finishing or a conclusive na mga slides. So I hope you learned a lot from our session, and hold on. So again, these are the things that we talked about in this session. First, paano kumita ng dividend from stocks, So we learned about the 4 dividend dates and how to calculate for the dividend yield. I also shared with you another strategy, short term, So may mga ganun again, not all the time na ganun yung instance, but I hope when the opportunity arises na may ganong opportunity, I hope ma-apply nyo yung dividend capture strategy. Kasi may mga stocks dyan na gawin nyo lang yan, pwede na, Parang higher probability na uh, profit yung trade. Basta execute it lang and dapat na-follow nyo yung stock. Third, we shared to you how to know the stock's value. So 2 ways for you to do that, market price and book value per share. And when you compare those two against each other, we are able to determine the cheapness of a stock using the price to book ratio, which is one of the metrics used doon sa unloved na stock stream research report. And Kyle also shared to us how to interpret the stock stream research report. So we hope you learn a lot from the webinar, and we want your honest opinion, Kasi again, we want to know how we can improve your market education learning experience. So I encourage you to scan this QR code and accomplish the feedback survey form. So we will know, how well you are doing. Again, we want to continue improving our service to you, especially when it comes to market education. So we want to hear your thoughts and insights there. So Please take a screenshot of this feedback form, scan this QR code as I present the last few slides. While you are doing that, I'm inviting everyone to invest in knowledge this August 2024 with our upcoming webinars. Di ba ngayon August, parang back to school yung theme, di ba? This is a reminder for us that learning is a lifelong journey for all of us. And every piece of new knowledge opens doors to opportunities we never thought possible. So I challenge everyone to elevate their financial knowledge and explore possibilities it can bring us. No? And these are our live sessions. We have one on Thursday, 6 p.m. Fun Smart Learning Series with Atram. So, ano siya, medyo special feature kasi we're going to feature dads, proud Pinoy tatay. Pagpapalago ng yaman sa pamamagitan ng UITFs, which is one thing na you can trade stocks sa platform namin, pwede rin invest in UITFs. And I encourage you to join Best Part 3 as well, last part of our series, which is Introduction to Technical Analysis, that will be on August 30. Continuation of our discussion tonight. Check out our Facebook page. Nandun yung registration link to our upcoming events. And if nagustuhan niyo yung content namin, feel free to share it to your friends and family na you can invite them to our sessions. And again, just a teaser for you, kasi ako rin mag-conduct ng Best Part 3, Introduction to Technical Analysis, ito yung matutunan nyo. So first, how are basic candlesticks formed? Second, the 3 core beliefs of technical analysis. Third, paano mag-plan ng trades. And lastly, again, we'll have another representative of our equity research division to discuss the Trader's Playbook research report. Now, after finishing our 3-part best series, I highly recommend everyone to enroll in our Guided Investor Fearless Trader paid learning series, as this course will cover intermediate level courses from fundamental analysis, valuation, technical analysis, build your own trading system, and it's a very in-depth session, 3 days a week siya, for every module. So, one of the first formal na seminars I conducted noon, on-site pa siya, but right now, you can do it online already. And if you learn a lot from our session, feel free to invite us as well. We conduct free session. Now we can even tailor fit it. We can gamify it. We can create a learning program for your company, school, organization, or client. So just send us an email at marketeducation@firstmetrosec.com.ph. And we can deliver these services nationwide as we have offices in Manila, Cebu, and Davao. So should you decide to invest in the future, we just like to let you know that with First Metrosec, you only need one account for all your investment needs. You can gain access to your portfolio using your desktop, laptop, tablets, and even your mobile phones. And with that First Metrosec account, you can trade PSE stock, real estate investment trust, exchange traded funds, invest in mutual funds, unit investment trust funds, and even bonds. So again, ang goal talaga namin is to become an all-in-one investment platform na para siyang supermarket na tipong nandyan lahat ng available options for you. You just go there with your carts, tapos mag-add to cart ka lang or add to your portfolio with your preferred investment type. And we are actually doing pretty well. We have received multiple awards and global recognitions from Finance Asia, International Finance, Global Economics, Global Brands Magazine, and many more. And through the years, ang dami ng awards from Best Online Broker, Best Stock Brokerage House, Best and Most Innovative Online Trading Platform. And singit ko lang din, best place to work sa brokerage division. And I'm grateful to be part of this wonderful family and organization. You can open a First Metrosec account by downloading the First Metrosec Go mobile app. Punta lang kayo sa Google Play or Apple App Store. Click sign up now. You just complete the online registration form with your required documents. Very simple lang, kasi parang just like opening any other online accounts, you just need one valid ID, tax identification number, proof of address, proof of bank account, and the initial funding is only 1,000 pesos. So for faster processing of your account opening application, please use the seminar code BEST so we know that you came from this webinar. So with that, feel free to connect with us. We are all over social media from Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, X, and even YouTube. So just scan this QR code. It will take you to our different social media channels. So feel free to follow us there. So with that, thank you everyone. It's now time for our Q&A. I think we still have time. It's still 7:25. Okay? Meron bang questions? Thank you for the 50 participants who stayed up until today. So are there questions? I am checking right now the Q&A panel and I don't see anything. Sige, let me see the chat box. Meron ba? All right. Sige, first call for questions. Meron po ba? Or is everything clear?
Gutom na yata sila, Sir JB.
Oo nga. Ayan, there's a question from an anonymous attendee. Magkano po ang pwedeng i-invest? So, if you attended our Stock Market 101 session, again, first and foremost, minimum initial funding is just 1,000. Pero yung depende kasi yung stock na bibilhin mo, depende sa presyo niya. Uh, we have this thing called board lot and yung depende sa board lot, that is the minimum number of shares required for you to be able to invest. So depende. Depende siya. Okay? So that is for stocks, pero for mga mutual funds, UITFs, 1,000 pwede na. Okay, so I answered that questions. Yeah. Another question from an anonymous attendee. I think Kyle can take this. Does the dividend reduces the stockholders' equity? Go ahead, Kyle.
Yes, it does. Usually, once the dividend is paid out to those shareholders, mababawasan yung, yeah. Was I heard ba, Sir JP? Yeah.
Medyo choppy. You can repeat na lang, Kyle. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. So for the equity part, yes, ang mababawasan yung stockholders' equity, mainly the retained earnings. So the retained earnings is under the equity in the balance sheet. So once that's paid out, usually mababawasan. And also cash. Usually that's how it goes para mabalance yung balance sheet.
All right, thank you for that, Kyle. We have someone here that's raising hand. So, hello, Ma'am Joycey. I'm allowing you to talk. You can unmute po, if you'd like, or maybe you can chat your ano. But feel free to unmute if you'd like. Ma'am Joycey, you are raising your hand. Sige po. You can type it po, or you can just unmute po. Yeah. Sige. Second call, I think baka naka-raise lang si Ma'am Joyce. Anyways, please get back to us, Ma'am Joycey, but feel free to chat or unmute yourself. So, yan, you have another here question from Jerome, no? Sir, how can I invest in First Metro? Again, first and foremost, sir, you need to have an account with us. Punta ka lang sa Google Play or Apple App Store. Tapos, check mo yung First Metro Set Go. Download mo yung app namin, then click sign up now. It will take you to an online process that sa akin, it just took me mga 15 minutes to finish. So, very easy, very convenient. And yun, pag okay na, kompleto na yung upload niyo na documents, it will take us 2 to 3 business days to activate your account. So I hope I answered your question, Sir Jerome. Yan. Another question from an anonymous attendee. Timing si Kyle yung pinadala namin. What is your take in Plus na stock? Go ahead, Kyle.
For Plus, we really like Plus because it's an asset-light company, meaning it doesn't need to generate or it doesn't need to spend a lot of cash to actually expand its network because most of its operations is actually just online. No? So we do like Plus in the long term also because it was recently included in the MSCI Philippine Small Cap Index. So we think this will help its investability in terms of visibility from like foreign investors. But in the near term, I think medyo mahirap nang pumasok. So maybe you can wait for a technical pattern to form or maybe a buy signal that can help you guide when to enter plus.
All right, thank you for that, Kyle. Okay, so uh here's another question from Sir Prince Villabito. Sir, how much is the paid training session? So, for the paid training session, sir, yung gift, Guided Investor Fearless Trader, ano siya? It's per module nun, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, build your own trading system. 3 days siya. It's a 3-day session, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. Depende ano yung style na gusto ninyo, either per module kayo or pwede bundle. Um, maybe, Tim, if you can answer this question, but please answer me, please correct me if I'm wrong. Kung if you take the bundle, I think 10,000 ata yun. Somewhere around that level for the 3 sessions. Pero pag individual ka na module lang, I think it's around 3,500 or 5,000 depende sa module. Okay, so yan. Please ano lang check our Facebook page. Meron doon for Guided Investor Fearless Trader. You can see uh, the amount doon for each of the modules. Okay, so yan. I hope I answered your I hope I answered your question, Sir Prince. Another one here from Sir John Carlo. If a company is overvalued, does this mean the risk to invest is too high? Uh, Go ahead, Kyle. Would you like to take this? Pag overvalued siya.
Okay. It depends on how you define overvalued, no? Because I think it's a bit subjective also. Why on how a stock is being overvalued. For example, some people say it might be overvalued, but because sometimes a stock has a PE of say 40, no? But this is because it's still in its growth stage. That's why you can see sometimes people are saying overvalued na yan. But when the earnings start to come in, you can actually see that it's fairly valued in terms of its growth prospects. So it's important to also know the due diligence also on why sometimes stocks can be overvalued or even undervalued because undervalued and some there are management issues, for example. But yeah, in terms of overvalued, as Sir JP also mentioned with Warren Buffett, there are wonderful stocks that you can buy at a good price also.
All right, thank you for that, Kyle. So again, I'll just chime in on that, no. So, again, when you say overvalued, it's really subjective. So usually ginagawa nila Kyle niyan is they look at a certain industry, no, or mga peer, no, peer table tawag, parang peer table na kung magkakapareha sila na consumer, tinitingnan nila yung PE or price to book nila, tapos kino-compare against peers, no. Kasi again, you cannot compare apples to oranges, kumbaga. So usually sa isang industry, sa isang sector, meron yan siyang average. So maybe you can use that as your reference to know if it's really overvalued or undervalued. But the challenge lang, tama yung sabi ni Najer dito, that the stock market is forward-looking. Sometimes investors are willing to pay higher or they'd like to pay a premium on that stock because of its growth potential. Kaya sabi ko rin sa lecture ko kanina na may mga stocks dyan na they barely trade below 1 na book value per share. So always above 1 yung price to book value, 2 times, 3 times pa paminsan, 'di ba? Pero may mga stocks din diyan na they're trading below price to book value, below 1 siya always, no? So not only you look at it against peers, you look at it historically, no? So kasi sa historical malalaman mo if it's trading baka sa kanya normal yung ganong PE or PB price to book value pero pagtingin mo sa kanya historically nasa ano pala siya plus or minus 2 SD siya. So yun, depends really, no? So you have to compare and contrast. Kaya tinatawag sa mga price to earnings, price to book value is relative valuation metrics. So you relate it with some, not just it's not a standalone na metric. Okay? So, yan. I think we can have another question from anonymous attendee with regards to FMS mobile platform. Are we expecting to have options for fund subscription soon? If sir, whoever this attendee is, if you are referring to mutual funds or UITF na subscription, we already have that, no? So, pero yun lang, you can access that through the website, hindi pa sa mobile app. Kasi sa mobile app right now, you can just trade stocks on the go, buy and sell anytime, monitor your portfolio. Pero sa mutual funds and UITFs, punta talaga kayo sa website to subscribe or redeem. But again, right now, kung meron kang cellphone, nandiyan yung mobile app mo, you can just easily open your browser sa cellphone to log into your First Metrosec para makasubscribe ka sa mutual funds and UITFs. Okay? Thank you. So, another one from anonymous attendee. I think this is the last one for tonight because it's already 7:36 on my watch. Sabi ni anonymous attendee, sana may portfolio tracker na din po ang FMS. Okay, we hear you. No, for now, that's the answer muna. We hear you guys and please keep posted kasi we have been hearing that as well from our other clients, yung portfolio tracker. But ano lang, we hear you. No, we hear you and please do keep posted if ever no in the future meron na. Okay, but yeah, for now, we hear you. Okay. All right, so I guess that's it for our session tonight, no? So I hope you learned a lot and I hope we see your feedback doon sa feedback form. So please, I want you to go to that and so me and Kyle know where to improve, where we did well, and hopefully makatulong siya na ma-level up pa namin yung market education sessions namin moving forward. All right. So with that, thank you so much everyone and have a pleasant night ahead. Thank you,
Thank
Kyle.
you. Thank you.